Hello everyone and welcome to part 10 of my Learn Ethical Hacking. In this part we're going to look at creating a fake access point. So basically we're going to create a fake Wi-Fi router or hotspot that people can connect to, and it will not have any password or Wi-Fi key. So when someone wants to connect to it, they will connect straight to it and the internet will in fact work. So it will look like just a free internet hotspot for them because there'll be no key. They can just connect to it and use the internet, but it's fake. So basically we will control all the packets that flow through the devices and through the Wi-Fi hotspot, which enables us to actually capture sensitive packets and information and analyze them. And to do this we're going to need to download something called Mana Toolkit. It makes the process very simple for us because it will automatically create the new access point, and there's options to start SSL strip, a file lamp, and there's some of it, or sometimes it even attempts to bypass HSTS, which is commonly used by Gmail and Facebook. Mana uses three main scripts. So start no upstream. Basically this will start an access point, so devices will be able to detect it, and when you click on your Wi-Fi on Windows 10 and all the Wi-Fi routers come up and you can choose which one you want to connect to, it will appear, the fake one will appear, but when you connect to it there'll be no internet access, so there's not much point to that. We are going to be using that simple, this one here. So it's just going to start a normal access point using an internet connection with upstream interface. But there's also another one which is NAT full, and this one will use the extra bypass, or it'll use the bypasses for the security, and it'll start SSL strip, SSL split, and file lamp, which I'll discuss later in the video. So if I go to the next slide, these are the commands. So when you're on Kali Linux, if you type apt-get, apt-get install, and then Mana Toolkit, that will install Mana. Then we need to do some modification to the config files, and the last script here, or last command, is bash, and then this URL to the NAT simple, or the start NAT simple one, because that's the one we're going to use in the video. So I'm just going to go onto the Kali Linux machine, and once I open that, I will show you how to install it, modify it, and actually start this fake access point. So I thought it was important for you to understand the theory behind how this is actually working. So say computer 1 in this diagram is your neighbor. They are searching for Wi-Fi connections and they see this one pop up. Now this is the fake one we have created, but basically what we're doing is we're using a wireless card and we're making it act like a Wi-Fi router. So they will see this router and think, oh, I'll connect to it because it looks like free internet, they haven't put a key on it, so I'll just connect. Once they connect to it, the hacker machine will know they've connected to it, and if they send a request to Google, it'll send the request to the wireless card, in this case not a real Wi-Fi router. The wireless card will then relay that back onto the hacker machine, and the hacker machine will need to be connected to the internet through different means. So a hacker machine might have two wireless cards. One of them is acting as the Wi-Fi router, and then the other one's actually connected to a real Wi-Fi router. So that way the computer, or the neighbor in this case that is connected, will still get Wi-Fi connection, because once they send the request to the wireless card that's acting as a Wi-Fi router, and they that gets sent onto the hacker machine, the hacker machine will then send that onto the internet through the other connection. So you could have two wireless cards connected to your host machine or your hacker machine, or you could have the wireless card and the wired connection, because this, you cannot connect to your actual router through this wireless card that is being used as a Wi-Fi router, because it's just being used. You can't use it, it's two things at once. So hopefully this does give it a basic understanding of how it works, but in my case I'm using Kali Linux on a virtual machine. So I have my wireless card connected to my host machine. Now this wireless card I've got connected right in front of me is going to act like a Wi-Fi router. I've got an internal wireless card in my actual host machine that runs Windows 10. That gives internet connection to the Kali Linux virtual machine through a bridged. Now that is why you may see wired connected, is because it uses the internal connection from your host machine. But if you're on the virtual machine and you have two Wi-Fi cards, you can use one to connect to an actual router and then the other one as a Wi-Fi card. So hopefully that clears it up. Hopefully it gives you a bit more of an understanding of what we're actually doing here. And I will see you on the Kali Linux machine. So now that you've opened up Kali Linux, we can actually install the Mana toolkit now. So to do so, it's just the same as the first command I've shown you in the PowerPoint. So it's apt-get install, then mana-toolkit. When you click enter, it will install it. So if you click enter, now I've already installed it. As you can see here, it says Mana toolkit is already the newest version. Just give it a second for you, because if it's the first time installing it, it will take a little or a few seconds depending on how powerful your machine is or whether you're using virtual machine. But it shouldn't take no longer than a few minutes. I can type, or you'll know it's completed installation when a new line pops up like this underneath all the white text. Then you can type clear, which will wipe the terminal clean, so you can start again. Next, we need to open the details of the fake access point and the config file. So to do so, we're going to type leafpad. Now leafpad is just a simple text editor, so we're telling the file to open with this application. So we'll do leafpad, then /etc/mana-toolkit / it's I can't speak today. Then do host apd-mana, then conf for config. Click enter and it will open the config. So the most important information on this config file is the first bit of information here, which I've highlighted. The interface is the card that's going to act like the Wi-Fi router. So it's going to mimic a Wi-Fi router, but in this case, it's just a wireless card. So if I go back to the terminal, and if I open another terminal and type iwconfig, if I just zoom in a little bit here, as you can see, the WLAN 0 is my wireless card. I've got it in managed mode, so there's no messing with that monitor mode anymore, because the capturing packets is over. So make sure it's in managed and make sure it is connected to your virtual machine. So as you can see here, it says Wi-Fi not connected. What I mean by it's connected to the virtual machine is that you can actually detect networks, and the virtual machine does detect that you've connected the wireless card. ETH0 in this case is my wired connection, or as you can see here, it says wired connected. So ETH0 is my internal host machine's wireless card, which is connected to a real router. That is the bridge connection I was talking about. So this sort of like relays from the fake access point to my ETH0, which is connected to my host device, which is then connected to my real Wi-Fi router. Now you can close out of that, because if we go back to the config file, as you can see up here, the interface is WLAN 0. So this is the card that we want to use. That's correct, as you can see from that iwconfig. We can leave the BSSID the same, that's just the MAC address. We can leave the driver the same, and the ESSID, or ESSID in this case, is internet. So this is the name of the Wi-Fi connection. So if I go to Wi-Fi not connected and select a network, the SSID is the name. So as you can see, the first one on this list is Sky C9DDD, but this fake one will just be called internet. I'm not going to change it, and we'll use channel 6. So I'm not really going to change anything in this config file, but it's just important for you to know this stuff in case you need to make changes. So you can call this whatever you want, but I'm going to leave it as internet. So I'm just going to close out of that. And the next one we can open, let's open the other config files now. So if we do leafpad, then we'll do /usr instead of etc, then share, then / again, mana -toolkit, run -mana, then do start -nat -simple .sh. So if I click this or click enter, the upstream is the card that is basically the card giving the how can I say this? ETH0 is the card that's giving the hacker machine internet. So for ETH0 or the hacker machine to actually have internet access, it needs to have two cards like I've explained. So ETH0 is my host machine's internal wireless card, which is connected to my actual real router. The fake router is my wireless card, and the wireless card sends signals to the internal card that sends signals to the real router that sends a signal back. This way it gives internet connection to the person connected to the fake access point, but all the packets are flowing through the hacker machine to the Wi-Fi router and then back. So we're like the middleman between the victim computer connecting to the fake access point and the real router. We're in the middle capturing all the information. Think of it like that, it might make more sense. However, I'm going to need to change this. So I'm going to keep ETH0 the same because that is the bridge connection or the wired connector that I'm using through my virtual machine. So think of ETH0 as my host machine internal wireless card, which is connected to a real Wi-Fi router. PHY is the wireless card. Now it's called WLAN 1 here, so I'm going to rename it to WLAN 0. Click File and then click Save. So I can close out of that now, but you've just, like I said, you just got to make sure the upstream's correct. So if you have a second wireless card, that might be called WLAN 10, WLAN 2, you could have as many as you want, then you will need to change the upstream in this config file. So I can close out of that and type clear, click enter. And now we can actually run this fake access point. So I'm going to type bash, then I'm going to do /usr /share /mana -toolkit /run -mana /start -nat -simple.sh. Click enter, and it's going to start to actually begin configuring this fake access point. So it's enabled. My wireless card is currently acting as a wireless router or just a Wi-Fi router. Now, if we it's finding all devices that are connected to my host machine's connection. So my host machine, like I said, is connected to my main Wi-Fi router, which is this one here. So it's just got all devices that are connected to it. But now if I go on my separate laptop, so if we think of this laptop as like a neighbor that's connecting or searching for Wi-Fi routers, you will see that the internet will pop up. So I will just show you my MacBook now, and we'll see what we've actually done. So now that we're on the MacBook, think of this as like the neighbor's computer. So the neighbor's searching for Wi-Fi spots, and if you go up to the Wi-Fi connections, as you can see, there's a new one here called internet. Now that corresponds to the fake access point that we created. Remember, I didn't change the name. And if we connect to it, so connect to it, it's just trying to connect to it now. Give it a few seconds. It's connected. As you can see here, the network name is exactly the same, which is internet. So now basically all the packets are flowing through this device that are flowing through basically the hacker device, then through to my real router and back through. So like I said, it's hard to sort of grasp, but just think of like the hacker as a middleman. It's capturing all the information coming from the client computer or the victim computer, and then it's capturing all the information coming back from the real router. So just to prove that the internet actually does work, ignore OBS. I'll just skip past it and go to the Wi-Fi, the web browser. If I click on Google, as you can see, the internet works. So I'm getting internet connection. I can have, I can go on any website. I can log into anything. It's just like a real internet connection. Now this person may be thinking, oh great, I've got free internet. There's no key. They must have forgotten a key, but obviously they haven't realized that they've just connected to a honeypot, which is a fake, or like think of it like a trap, basically. So if now this client or this neighbor goes and logs into PayPal, we can do some attacks on that, find out the login information, we can do loads and loads of things. This will be explained later in the course once we get onto poisoning and actual client attacks post connection. But hopefully this video did help. Maybe you learned something from it. If I didn't explain it very well, please leave a comment and I'll try and explain it better, or show articles that explain it better. So that was it really for this video. If it did help, please leave a like, comment, subscribe for the latest videos, and I will see you in the next video.